It looks like we're live. All right. Haha. I just finished my dinner as I was going live, and I was changing the stream time because for some reason here it says 9 p.m., but in other places it says 8 p.m. I'm like, YouTube, I don't understand. Anyhow, it is another Bandcamp Friday. If I have food in my teeth, I apologize. But Bandcamp Friday live streams are all about the celebration of creators of music with a definite slant towards the solo creator, the bandless person, the person without a band specifically. And people who are doing it all themselves. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's definitely what we favor in terms of the content. We take a look at a bunch of artists that have put out music within the last month. And if you don't know, Bandcamp Friday is today. And on the Bandcamp platform, Bandcamp waives their cut, their revenue cut. So what that means is the artist takes all. Of course, there are processing fees, taxes, all these kinds of things. Depends where you are, depends what services you use. But yeah, that's essentially what Bandcamp Friday is, if you don't know. And we highlight a few artists that we know in our community, in the Bandless community, in the Bunn community, and people on the periphery of that, people who might be friends of myself or might be friends of some of you guys. And we take a listen to some of their new material, and we share the links in the chat so that you can check it out in full on your own. Getting to that part is we only listen to a portion of each clip. We don't listen to entire songs because we don't really have the time for that, and it doesn't make a very good show, but it gives you an idea of kind of what you're getting into. And if you're excited about the material, the link will be in the chat and you can follow up with it and enjoy it further on your own, which is, I think, the most fun way to do it. Anyhow, I see a few people are currently in the stream. No comments yet. That's fine. But yeah, we have a couple new artists line up. Actually, let me take a look here. Yeah, we got some stuff that we've never taken a listen to before. And then we've got a few folks who are in the groups who have released stuff before, we've featured before, new material, new works from them, but a few newbies. So that's cool. Actually, we're going to kick it off with two newbies. Newbies. Is that a word? Like, I don't know. I can't believe. I guess I'm 50. You know I'm 50 when I'm using the word newbie. Newbie. So weird. Anyway, going back to the thing here. Oh, Ulrich, how are you, man? Dude, good to see you. I hope all is well with you. I hope, there are some riffs happening for you. I'm not sure where you're at with all of that, if you're in the riffs these days, or if you're in deep in the photography and art. For those who don't know, Ulrich has been, a pal for a very long time in this whole world of the internet, and is a quite talented artist all the way around. A guy who likes to dabble in all mediums, which I think most of us do. I think that's the whole bandless thing, is one of the reasons why most of us do it all ourselves or with very few other people is because we just like doing it. Don't we? I do. That's my whole reasoning. My main reason for doing everything myself and having a hard time giving up on any of it is because I like doing it. I like the punishment. And Ulrich is, he's still writing. He's pushing himself with more technical picking. Nice. The picking, I slacked hard on the picking in the last 20 years. I got real lazy with the picking hand. Alternate picking, though. I do practice that. Alternate picking specifically for scales and moving through melodies and stuff like that. I try to keep a very even stroke there. Anyhow, we're going to get into the first little bits here. It's 8:06 Eastern Standard Time. Let me know what the time is where you are, all of you. There's only a handful of folks in the stream at the moment, but we'd love to know what time it is, where you're listening from, and where you're tuning in from. That would be great. I am gonna get to this cool thing here. This cool band. This first one we're talking about. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, technology. It probably changed on the screen for you, but did not change for me. I have this new system. Anyhow, first one that we're going to take a listen to is Slowly. I usually talk a little bit about the artist and talk about how it sort of relates to our world. If you don't know these artists, a lot of these artists you will not know. But my connection with this artist is this is a friend from where I grew up in Northern Ontario. His name is Charlie. He doesn't leave his name here anywhere. But this is his project, Slowly. He does it all himself. We got some info down here at the bottom. All of the things, writing, performance, recording, production, and artwork by Slowly. And this is a friend of mine. He currently lives in this city, in Toronto, where I live. I don't actually see him too often, but he just released this. This is a pre-order. And you'll notice here, pre-order digital album. And the official release is going to be July 15th. It's a ways down the road. I imagine it's going to line up with some manufacturing because he did this with, whatchamacallit, Leader Records.com. Not sure exactly who they are, but he's doing it with a label. And this is Charlie's style. Some of Charlie, he actually uses his name here. This is some of Charlie's other current projects. Dormer with Hidden Noise, Porch Songs, Tone Miner, Slow Planet, Lacquer Music, and Soft Wounds. This guy is very driven, very prolific. Anyhow, enough talk. Let's rock. And I just need to bring the levels up here. Audio, desktop audio, might be too loud. Let's see. Gonna listen to a clip, and then I'm gonna share the link. And if you like it, you can listen to the rest of it on your own time. doing my tasteful fade here. Cool. So that is Slowly. Very cool. Post-rocky vibes. Post-rocky, shoegazy. Charlie is a vocalist. He was a vocalist first, and he really got into the instruments in the last couple of years in order to produce his own music. I'm not sure how much he played back in the day. When I first knew him, I only knew him as a vocalist. But yeah, very, very cool. I dropped the link into the chat. So if you'd like to follow it up, if you like what you're listening to, you can follow up with that. You can pre-order the album right now, but there's only the one track up. As you can see here. Oh, I've changed camera angles. But yeah, very cool material. Really into what he's doing. I need to link up with this guy. He lives in Toronto, and I'm always complaining like, oh, I don't have enough friends who are kind of doing things similar to me, you know, who are just like attacking it from every single angle. One of the things about doing that is it's kind of lonely in that there's so few other people who do things this way. And even though you like creating on your own, you still really enjoy kind of being able to interact with people who do things similar to yourself, because you speak the same language and you can get excited about the same kinds of things, and you don't have to explain yourself all the time and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, my bad if Charlie is for some reason tuned in. I'm sorry. I should reach out to you more often. Back to the chat here. Ulrich is 2 in the morning. So Friday night, Saturday morning, partying, Saturday morning. Would that be 2 in the morning? Like really late party time? I'm not sure what the shift is there. South Africa is still kind of close to where I am in terms of the total world, the total sphere of the world. It's closer than, say, Japan. Anyhow. And Charlie, you're throwing down some gothy gazy vibes. Yeah, I really dig it. Development of a Void. Good to see you in there. I hope you're well. He says, wish I could have contributed to Bandcamp, but I still have to work on my mixes. Hopefully next month I can share something with worth people's time. Everything you do is worth people's time. Development of a Void. I know what you do, and even your worst is pretty darn good. Let's be real. So, yeah, don't sweat it too much. Definitely do your best work. I would never say that that's a bad idea. Do your best work. Don't get too caught up in, don't go get too crazy about the mixes or too crazy about the mastering. Something, a note on that is I know a few folks at the moment and over the last couple of years who are solo creators trying to do this similar thing as us. And some people who have been working on an album for over 10 years now, still no dice. Still nothing. It's not right. They need to remix it. They need to remaster it. They need to add some more layers. I don't know, something. So I'm not saying that's where you're at. I'm just saying it can get that brutal. And for what? An idea in action is always better than an idea that's hidden away, because you can build on an idea that is out in the world, and you can keep building, keep getting better. And the process of improvement through the actual act of doing and participating in the world of that kind of art, that kind of music, is really helpful. I wish I would have known this myself when I first was able to go solo, I really took my time, and I really was like, I don't know, I was really safe about it, which was probably, what I know now was a huge mistake. So I'm not saying that you're doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to inspire, like, you don't need the best mix. You don't need the best anything. Do your best work, but more importantly, always do your best work. Always get it out there. Always connect with the world, because connection it's everything. It's amazing. Ulrich, he's saying, yeah, Ulrich has a good little bit there as well. Just needs to be worth your time. True. And if it's not worth your time, your personal, if you're like, I see a clear road to what I need to do, a clear road to what I can do better for myself, then that's probably something you should do. I'm not trying to discourage people from doing their best work, but I am trying to discourage people from like putting it off until it's perfect, because we all know how that story ends. Apoplexia, how are you? Good to see you. Development of a void. There is this perfectionism I'm trying to practice out of. Yeah. Being aware of it is really important. It seems like you're on top of it. Apoplexia, I spent 3 years making one album, and it's not worth that much time. But at the same time, I still love the end product. Yeah. You got over that hump. And to be honest, to be fair, I got a chill on this one. You have to live in that hump for a little bit. You have to experience it in order to know what it is. You can't, it's very difficult to conceptualize something as opposed to experience something. When you experience something, you know what it is. When you experience this trap of perfectionism, and you're like, holy crap, 5 years just went by and I didn't do anything. I could have wrote 5 albums. 10 years went by since the last time I had, I performed or whatever. It depends what you want to do. Obviously, follow the path of what you would like to do. You shouldn't do things that you don't want to do. But make sure you prioritize the things that you want to do, because life is short. And yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop preaching now. Barry Prosser. Good to see you, man. Haven't actually hung with the Barry for a little while. How's it going, man? How was your week? How is the music going? I hope all is well. You got a track, lined up for us or in the work for us for maybe next month? Let us know. We're going to move along to the next little bit here. This one, I got to cue things up here. I've learned my lesson in years or days previous that when I do my tasteful fade, make sure to return the fader to its appropriate level. So this one here is a project called Lone Pre. Whoa, bam, bam, bam. Did it go? I think it did. It did. Great. This is Lone Pre, and some of the details about Lone Pre is this is a fellow by the name of Clayton Donofrio. Hope I'm saying that right, Clayton. Clayton is the same as us, same as a lot of us, rather. Totally solo creator. He's making this stuff by himself. It is pretty doomy, sludge doom, pretty gnarly. And yeah, enough talk. Let's rock. I hope I'm saying that right. Bam. I dropped the link into the chat. So if you are stoked on those destruction vibes, you can check it out for yourself. 5 tunes on there, and a couple releases in the can. Quite a few. Let's go to music. Does he have? Yeah. So there's there's a lot of stuff here to explore from Lone Prey. Dystopian Future Sludge. I love, I absolutely love that description. And beautiful Telecaster right there. Very nice. Anyhow, bam. Great. And let's get back to the chat. I got to get all these things going. A few new folks in the old chatteroony here. We got Ed Sweetman, another brother from a different mother, fellow Sudburian, fellow Torontonian. Mr. Sweetman also builds basses. One day he was just like, I'm going to build a bass. And he built like this crazy sick bass. And I think quite a few thereafter. On top of having children, you know, a married life, a career, all of these things. So he says, I'm just getting started with doing it all. Learning the recording process is the hardest part for me. Love the learning. Yeah, learning is amazing. Little tip on the recording process is take it in tiny bits and then everything works better. Rather than being like, I'm going to make a sick recording. Be like, how can I get like a good bass signal and a decent bass tone? How can I get, and then that's it. That's the only project for that day, for that week. And you just work on like, how do I work with the bass? How do I maximize working with the bass? What makes it work well? And then drums. I need some drums. Okay, how do I work with drums? I'm going to use these digital drums. What kind of kits do I need? How does that technology work? Or I'm going to record them myself, like real drums. How do I do that? What do I need? How do I do it? One step at a time. Compartmentalize it, and your progress will be far faster because you won't reach mastery, but you will reach proficiency, reasonable proficiency enough to move forward in each thing much more quickly, rather than being like, I need to make a recording and looking at the whole thing. It's like, forget about the whole thing, one little bit at a time, then put it together. Don't even think about mixing until you have reasonable material to mix. And keep everything as simple as possible. You'll make way more progress, way more quickly. Anyhow, Ed, by the way, if you need any help, you can call on me. Drop me an email. My email is, by the way, Scott at thebunn.ca. If you need any help with that, you let me know. I would be happy to help. That goes for pretty much anyone in the stream. It depends. I don't know how much I can help, but if there's something that you think I might be able to help you with, send me an email and I'll see what I can do. You know, no promises, no guarantees. Oh, are we still on the... Let's go to camera 1. Got the whole thing there. Anyhow, so yeah, I love to help people actualize their dreams. That is an amazing thing. And the reality is everybody can do this. Yeah, sometimes it's hard. Good things are hard. You know, some things take work. Good things take work. It's just the way it goes. So, Gear Stuff and Things. How are you? Good to see you in there, man. Bunny, I'm home. People making fun. No, my Pookie has a whole bunch of other names for me. I never get called Bunn or Scott ever here, which is kind of funny. Ain't that right, Mooks? I never get called Bunn or Scott, do I? You never call me Bunn or Scott.
No.
Never.
Only if you're in trouble.
Oh, when I'm in trouble, yes. This is true. Anyway. Anyhow, we're going to get on to some new Jammaroonies. Gear Stuff and Things. Yo, good to see you here. Yiggity yo. See how that parlayed into each other? Cool, thanks for those destruction vibes. Yeah, Lone Prey was awesome. And Development of Void, such a sludge. Yeah, very sludgy, hey? And Development of Void, Steven, long time no see. Yeah, super stoked. You guys are, the pals are reconnecting. Ed Sweetman, that's exactly what I'm doing. Awesome. Yeah, break it down. One module at a time. Yeah, I think you and I are probably similar. I don't know. Are you on the spectrum at all, Ed? Do you know? I am. It seems like a lot of my friends turn out that they are. So, I don't know. It would be cool. I'm not saying you have to be. I'm just saying it seems a lot of my friends happen to be that. Gear Stuff and Things says, I'm well, hope you're great. Oh, I'm as great as I can be. I wolfed down my dinner, like literally as the stream was going live. So I'm pretty cool now. Marauder Music. Oh, what's going on? Cos Boogie, the Cos Master. And BC likes you. Amazing. Very good to see you here. Oh, I'm seeing it's delayed about 10 seconds. Cool. All right. We're going to get on to the next little bit here. I'm going to cue it up. Bam, bam, bam. And let's go to our thing. Got to bring our gain back up so we can hear things, because that's cool. Great. And switching to the second camera. So this one here is our pal Matt. Mr. Matt McGrath and Mr. Matt Kenny, actually. I'm semi-connected with both of them. One Matt more than the other Matt. But these folks are from Nova Scotia. It's three guys, and Matt, I think, are the guys who really kind of work on this. And even though it's a team, it's still without a band. They're doing it in the traditional bandless format, fake drums and all that kind of stuff. So this is their track that they released April 8th, just after the last Bandcamp Friday, and just before this one. So we're going to give it a little listen. And from my experience of the last one sounded pretty good. So I think this one's going to be awesome. It's a very suspenseful intro. just when it gets really heavy. Yeah, awesome. And Matt is also a member of Bandless. So you'll see Matt, digging around in the Bandless community, in the Bunn community. So yeah, if you see him in there, be like, hey man, I dig your heavy jams. And I'm curious, question for Matt, does anybody in the band appreciate Shai Hulud? Not the worm from Dune, the band, but that sort of flat second arpeggio section. It doesn't sound like Shai Hulud, but it has like a vibe that is sort of similar, like a parallel path type of thing. Let's go back to camera one. Yeah, very curious about that. If you have any insight to share, if not, it doesn't have to be a parallel to that whatsoever. I'm just curious. But Synth Chris is in the house. Gunky Zip is in the house. Holy jumping. Good to see you guys. I hope all is well. The chat is over there. The camera's over here. If you're like, why are you talking to us over there? Because the chat's over there. I talk to the chat. I guess I could put the camera there. But right here, the camera is not in front of the screen at all. Over there, it would be. I don't know. Technicalities. Anyhow, good to see you, Gunky Zip. He was watching some Rush. Some YYZ, which is the code for Toronto Airport, YYZ. Anyway, which is also the best Rush riff ever, maybe. 2112 is my favorite album, for sure. Some people are like, oh, I don't like Rush because the vocals are hard to listen to. I'm like, I'm not crazy about the vocals, but man, so many amazing riffs. Hard band not to like. Like, that Rush is great. Great. I have a very high appreciation for that band. Bix, are you expecting someone at the door? Okay. Sorry, gang. Gunky Zip, Development Avoid, Synth Chris, Internet came back, great. Marauder Music, nice driving, spacious vibe. Yeah. It's got whatchamacallit, the Butcher. I've seen the Butcher, but the Butcher, it has good groove, good bounce, and cool breaks, like little artistic breaks. It's like, you're like, oh, this is hardcore. It's like, oh, no, it's more artistic than that. I don't know. I dig it. Apoplexy says, by the name I see they are probably Deftones fans. Sounds really cool. Maybe. I don't know. Ask him. He's in the groups. He may or may not make it to the stream tonight. Development Avoids, super tight riffing. Yeah, great riffing. And Roadbill chugs, yes. And when I faded out, it was like in the section where it got chugalicious. So there's more chugs there. Link is in the, in the chat. And dude, you guys are hanging out with each other. Red Sector A, yes. Wait, that's the code for the Toronto Airport. Yeah, BC likes you. So the best Rush tune for me, like my favorite Rush tune, is YYZ. YYZ is the airport code for one of the Toronto airports, Pearson International. And they wrote that song because Neil Peart was a pilot, and sometimes they would fly themselves to shows. And the Morse code they could hear that transmits or whatever from the airport as they were coming into the airport, they're like, oh, wow, what a cool rhythm that Morse code is. And they made a note of it, and then they wrote riffs around it and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Rush is pretty fun. Rush is actually really fun and funny. Like they're funny guys. Like they're just so personal. Like there's not a lot out there about them or that shares kind of their personalities. They're fun, funny guys. They're just regular guys. They like to goof around. And yeah, there's that one live show where Geddy Lee, everybody has a backline of amps behind him. Geddy Lee's like, I play direct. I use like the SansAmp stuff. And I go direct and I have in-ears. But I need something back there. So he just got washing machines or dryers. I think it was dryers. And they would just tumble Rush merch, Rush t-shirts. I don't know how many shows they did that for, but he did that for a bunch of shows. It was really funny. Anyway, Development of Void says Rush has that Queen effect, though. Like when you hear them, even if you've heard the song, you'll know who it is. Absolutely. Which is like very difficult. Like how do you have an identity in your music? And especially like a lot of the music I make has no voice. So how do you address that? Yeah, Rush, any song, even songs I've never heard. There's a few songs I've never heard. And if it comes on, I know it immediately. Even like I heard an Alex Lifeson solo album, different players. And you would think that Rush, like so much of it is Geddy Lee and that bass playing and Neil Peart, and it is. Those things are definitely like huge. Actually, Alex Lifeson, I don't think people give him enough credit. But I've heard some solo Alex Lifeson stuff. And I'm like, whoa, is this like some kind of out there Rush stuff? What is going on? And I followed up with it. I'm like, oh, it's an Alex Lifeson solo record. I'm like, I never really paid that much attention to Lifeson. He's a great guitar player, but it just wasn't where my interests were. Anyway, enough about Rush. I'm not like I sound like a Rush fanboy. Like I respect them greatly, but I don't know. It's just a fun topic. Anyhow, we're gonna get to the next one. What time is it? 8:38. We gotta get through it here. So, bam, I got to reset the gain. Got to do a little gain reset. And it seems like minus 2.8 is where it's at. How is the audio? When I'm playing the tracks, let me know in the comments. Are the tracks like loud enough or too loud, peaking out? I don't know. I'd love to know. I have no idea what I'm doing most of the time. But, so this next one here, we're going to go to camera 2. And this next one is sort of a pal through the pals. Same story as always, solo creator. And the project is called Chiasmus. It looks like Chiasmus, but it's Chiasmus is how you say it. And I have my script up here. Does it show the script? Okay, no. Great. But yeah, some of these things I don't have all the information baked into my brain, so I have notes. Anyhow, independent black metal artist from Washington State. He recorded and released mostly using free plugins, program drums, and very stripped back arranging approach. It's 2 guitars, left and right, bass, drums, and vocals, and he writes the whole thing, does the whole thing himself. It's fast, short. We're gonna take a listen to it. It is black metal inspired kind of stuff. Generally a little bit artsier though, which I really appreciate in the black metal spectrum. This is not a person who's just trying to do it again. They're like trying to find a voice in that thing. So let's check it out. Very cool. A little bit of early punk vibes. And I don't mean that in any kind of a negative way. For me personally, like when I'm talking about punk, there's many eras of punk. In this case, I'm talking more about the 80s, U.S. hardcore scene, Black Flag, Minor Threat, and then, going later into the more dirgy stuff like His Hero Is Gone, and like when punk got really punk, really serious, and really artistic. But yeah, there's just like an energy to that stuff that you just don't hear anywhere else. It's very difficult. It seems you have to be a certain kind of person to capture the spirit of it. And something I didn't notice the last time that I listened to Cosmas's material was like how much of that punk energy is in there. And it's got these very black metal kind of vibes, but it's very like, it's got this punk spirit that's driving it, not that different than maybe early thrash, like early Possessed was like pretty amazing. Yeah. Early Celtic Frost, Celtic Frost had a weird period where they went glam, but before that they had this like dark period. So early, like early 80s, late 70s. And it was just like amazing. Yeah, a lot of these vibes kind of in here, but like artistically different. Very cool. Curious what you guys think. I can't see the chat this very second. I have many windows that I have to bounce from. And Chugalicious coffee mug, Router Music says. I'm a little bit far back in the chat here. That's okay. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Audio, Marauder audio sounds great. Okay, great. I'm trying to catch up in the chat and just make sure that I'm on track with what we're talking about at the moment. BC likes you, digging the artwork. And Gucky Zip, that's my HM2 pedal dimed out. Yeah, the HM2 sound. It's funny, like a dimed HM2 does this fuzz kind of thing that I generally like more than most fuzzes. And if you boost an HM2, it's really nice. But Synth Chris, artwork is sick. Yeah, it's pretty dark, pretty evil. Oh, I should change cameras here. I'm still on the thing. Well, I guess it doesn't hurt. We're talking about this, so it doesn't hurt that it's on screen. But Marauder Music says, Roadbill says, verb delay on the vocals sounds great. Yeah, the vocal treatment kind of reminds me a little bit of Venom. This is more serious than Venom. I feel like whether people like Venom or not, whatever, Venom was like an important moment in metal history. But they had, and what Venom did is they created an atmosphere, whether you're a fan or not, they created this atmosphere in the music that I think influenced a lot of bands, a lot of black metal bands. And there's a little spirit of that, I think, in this. Not saying that this is derivative material in any way. I'm just trying to find the little shards of things that communicate sort of a bigger picture. Anyhow, Marauder Music, it takes effort to recreate a vintage sound like that to get that vibe. Yeah. What I really like about the Cosmas stuff is it's really focused on the atmosphere and the vibe and the environment. And it's not chasing anybody else's thing. And in this day and age, there's so many people who want to get their hero's sound or who want to get somebody else's sound. There's very few people who are reaching for their own sound. I've done it. I've been like, I want so-and-so's sound. And then you get it and you're like, this doesn't make any sense for me. I don't know why I wanted the sound. Like, I don't play this way. But yeah, so I give huge props to anybody who is doing more of their own thing than others. Everybody's at their own sort of pace, their own pace, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, very cool stuff. Runner Music. Ulrich says, all right, I have to get some sleep. Thank you for what you do to the community. Oh, we do this. We all do this, but I appreciate the sentiment, Ulrich. Yeah, I'm very stoked on it. I want to try and bring him back like where I have guests. Not sure how I'm going to do it though. I need better technology, but to have more of that community thing going that you speak of. Development of Void says, yeah, scary stuff. I think it is pretty scary sounding. Ulrich, have a good sleep, man. We'll catch up with you later. We should grab a call soon. I'd love to kind of just chat about what you're doing. And Road Bull, tragedy, his hero is gone. Yeah, you speaking my language. Road Bull, we have a lot in common because most people have no idea who his hero is gone is or tragedy. I think though, you're a East Coaster, right? I feel like for some reason, like East Coast Canada up to Ontario, a lot of us had access to a lot of this DIY hardcore scene from, the late 90s, early 2000s. And yeah. Since Chris says, I think he uses an HM2 sim, but I'm not too sure. Gear Stuff and Things says HM2 rules. I'm a huge fan of it. Yeah. Gear Stuff and Things, like, I think we're kind of on the same tip. It's like HM2s and rats. And maybe HM2 and rat together. That's nice too. And Development Avoid says ever boost your amp with the HM2, it kills. Yeah, I definitely boost the amp. That's my whole wetlands thing. I use a HM2 clone. Like I use in the Helix, it's a HM2 type of thing. It's the fuzz equivalent to the HM2, pretty much the same circuit. But in real life, I use the Wounded Paw Black Wolf, which is an HM2, like a steroid kind of HM2 with really cool controls. But and Marauder Music have a PV Valve King on the bench now, different sounding. Curious to see where it goes. Yeah, the Valve Kings. So the Valve King, when it very first came out, it was $500 high gain tube amp, and it sounded unbelievably good. And I was like, why is this $500? This is an unbelievable amp and great sounding amp. Definitely like in line with the 5150 thing. It is not a 5150, but it's closer to that sort of sound than it is to say a Marshall. I think anyway. But yeah, the whatchamacallit, the Helix, I use the Helix, not the HM2, the Helix Fuzz, the Helix Boss Fuzz, which is a very much based on an HM2. But yeah, the Helix rules, has the best sounds in the world. I'm very biased there. So we're going to get back to it here. I got to adjust my gain, get the gain back up to minus 2.8 and get ready for the next jammer here. What is the next jammer? Oh, look at this. Okay. We're nearing the end. Everybody knows about this one, I think, or a lot of people know about this one already. Bam. So yeah, the Bunn. We're getting to the end. We're at the end of the solo creators, the people who are not bands. I have a few here that are bands in the event. I always have a few extra in case we don't make it to 9. But I tend to talk a lot, so where am I on the camera here? Yeah, great. It's all working. So the Bunn released a new track this past week. Cornucopia is the name of it. I've leaked a little bit of it to the groups and whatnot, the Discord groups. I'm not sure who's with us, who's here, who is in the Discords, but I've leaked some of this track already. But you know who I am. You know what I do. This is my Foreigns project. It's all Bunn. There's no part of it that isn't Bunn. Oh, actually, the logo. The Foreigns logo was designed by Artie. Artie Voshko, and self-inflatable guy. And but the layout, the design and layout is myself. And this is the logo that I've had for a couple years now. Props to Artie. Thank you for the sick logo. I love it. Anyhow, we're going to take a little listen. Tasteful fade. But that is what Bunn came up with this past month. Took me a little bit longer than the other stuff that I've been doing, like the wetland stuff and the Venn stuff. It was tough to get back into the Foreigns frame of mind. And Foreigns, for me, is definitely the most... It's not the most complicated. It's the hardest to think about, which is different than complicated. Which is kind of weird. It's hard to make sense of it. But it's complicated music for me to come up with. It's not complicated music, but it's complicated for me to come up with. And the amount of riffs that I throw away is like unbelievable. And I'm curious who else might have this problem. Like for every idea that I like and keep for Foreigns, there's probably 100 that I throw away. Close. Sometimes more. Sometimes I'm lucky and there's a few less. But yeah, I'm not sure why. I'm definitely reaching for something with Foreigns that is just a little bit past my ability, the playing as well as the compositions. It's all classical skill or classical scales, and it's all on the money when it comes to the theory. There's nothing that's out and all that kind of stuff. So there's all that stuff going on. Maybe that's what makes it more difficult. But I'm curious, do other people have these kinds of issues when they're creating their own projects? I find with the Foreigns thing, it's just like there's so much thinking. Even though the riffs, when I come up with the riffs, it's just like I'm just sitting there playing and I'm looking for something specific, but it's not like I'm sitting there with a pen and paper and being like, writing it out. I'll do that after. Once I have a few things, I'm like, these things work together. Then I'll look at it a lot more academically. It is actually kind of semi-academic music comparatively to the other two. So maybe that's part of the reason why it takes more bandwidth. I don't know. But yeah, it takes a while to get that stuff out, but I got it out and I really like it. When I first started working on that tune, I didn't like any of it. I was just like, this is the best idea I have. I'm just going to go with it. And then I just kind of finessed it and kind of fleshed it out. Luckily, I spent the time and I fleshed it out enough and I'm like, oh, I see the opportunities here. I actually see some light at the end of the tunnel. So I ended up with something fun. Ed Sweetman, Cornucopia Kills, thank you. Gear Stuff and Things says, it's a great track. I listened to Floral on my way into the States today. Oh, no way. I actually listened to Floral today, first time since I released it. And I forgot kind of what it said. It just wasn't top of mind. I was like, wow, this is a pounding album. It really is like, it's pretty crazy. Appleplexy says, math sludge. Yes, it is math sludge. And Marauder says, next level. Thank you, Marauder. I appreciate that. Finn McKenty might say, sludging in a colored room. I hope that's what he would say. That's definitely what I'm shooting for. Marauder Music says, my tracks seem to take the path they want to take, though pretty pre-K level stuff. What? No. But let it be what it's going to be. Yeah, I know that I definitely use that process for Wetlands and Vens. Those two projects are a lot easier for me, and definitely like where it goes is where it goes, and it's a lot more, I guess, a holistic approach, and that approach feels good creatively. So yeah, pre-K, I would, definitely, I think you should retract that statement, Marauder. There's nothing pre-K about your music. I'm giving you a little hell right now because it's good stuff. Development of Void says, right on, I was excited when the HM2 came to the Helix because I never played the original. Yeah, I would say it's an exact match. It sounds exactly like that. And Ed Sweetman, for me, music theory gets in my way and I just need to not think. Yeah, I think after. I just let the thing happen and I'm like, once I have a vibe that I like, then I apply the music theory. And really only to foreigns. The other two projects I have are so simple, musically so simple that it doesn't really require a lot of bandwidth. That way I can just be creative and have fun. But yeah, Marauder Music, gotta own it. Anyhow, that's all I have for you guys today. That's what all you guys have for me today. That's actually how it works. I put it out there and I get what I get. And so the community provides the tracks. And I appreciate that which is provided. I appreciate it greatly. Involvement, what do you call it? Community involvement. Community involvement is really important. Roadbill says, it's tough to get gnarly feedback. That's my only knock on the Helix HM2, but that's the nature of model, I guess. I have a solution for you, Roadbill. I can't talk about it right now, but it's almost done, and I will help you with that feedback problem. Anyhow, I'm going to knock it off here for the evening. This happens every month. And if you're new to it, thank you for hanging out. The way that it works is the way that you saw it, but just to give words to it, we preview clips of new tracks that came out before Bandcamp Friday. It's not a super strict thing, but we definitely like it when it's self-produced solo creators or small groups of people who are kind of doing everything themselves and kind of that DIY spirit and, in the face of adversity type of thing, in the face of challenges, in the face of difficulty, in the face of a lack of resources. We really like that story around here. So if you have stuff, share it. We'd love to, enjoy it as a community and share the music and share the spirit of creating, because that's the most important part of it all. So does someone have a new plugin? I don't have a new plugin. It's better than a plugin. Gear Stuff and Things has Easy Driver 3. Yeah, I want it. So I'm going to talk to you about that. Would like to grab a call with you, Gear Stuff and Things. Remind me if I forget, but yeah, would love to have a chat and talk about it and talk about everything. And Marauder is using the Tone Lib metal at the moment. Yeah, I tried the Tone Lib. They actually gave it to me. They wanted me to do a demo on it and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't do gear demos anymore. And it's an impressive piece of software, though. Very, very, very impressive. And runs. I thought it was a Linux only thing, but it runs on all platforms, which is pretty fantastic. And Roadbull, my install is taking forever. Ancient iMac. Easy Drummer 3 is dope. Okay. I have some specific questions that I'd like to talk to you guys about in terms of Easy Drummer 3. I'm happy with what I have, but if Easy Drummer 3 is better in one specific way, I will upgrade to it. But yeah, I'm going to shut her down. It's 9:03. Super stoked to hang with you guys. Always love hanging out. Hope we can do it in person someday. Last night I went to a death metal show. I went and saw, what's his name? I am fully blanking on everything. Wow. Archspire. I almost had to look it up. But Archspire, YouTube channel, guitar player, for those of you who don't know. I'm not going to go too into it, but I went and saw them play last night and a couple other bands at the Opera House in Toronto. And it was full and there was no masks. And it seems that's the world that we're in finally here in Toronto. So the reason I bring it up is I would love to put together some kind of a bandless con or BO con or something. I don't know, some kind of like a community event in the middle of the United States somewhere, and maybe that'll make it easy for people to go. I don't know. But it would be awesome to hang out. Anyhow, I am going to shut her down. And thank you for hanging out. I hope to see you again. I'm going to be hanging out in the Bandless and Bunn Discords tomorrow, probably for most of the day. Tomorrow is my social media day, so I'm going to be in the Discords most of the day, probably also in the Facebook Baritone Obsessed group. But yeah. Oh, tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. Sunday. Sunday, I'm going to be hanging out. So if you guys are hanging out on Sundays on the computers or whatever, I'm going to be in all the communities on that day. If we can hang out some more, that would be cool. But I'm going to shut her down. What do we got here? I'll be back in Toronto May 22 for Deftones. Okay. I'll go to Deftones with you, or is it sold out? It's probably sold out. I want to go see how a flat earther plays guitar. Do they lay down? Anyway, have an amazing weekend, and yeah, be well. Play riffs. Get your riffs going. Get a track going for next month. Just one track. That's all you need. Like, honestly, get it together. You can do it. I believe in you. Everyone believes in you. Be well.